All right, cool. I'm gonna fix our lighting. All right, there we go. We're all hooked up here, people. Now let's bring up this. All right, there we go. All right. How we doing, everybody? Got YouTube and TikTok here today, so doubling it up. And let's get this party started here. We're gonna try to lessen the earthquaking as much as we can. For some reason, this camera likes to shake, but what up, YouTubers? See, we got a couple people hanging out already over there. I am just getting a couple things pulled up, so in the meantime, let's get this thing going. All right, let's pull up the soundboard. How is everyone doing? We got Saturday, almost 4 o'clock my time. What the heck is it? October 18th, which is crazy. Crazy to think that we are almost in November somehow, which that blows my mind. Nicole, oh my goodness, already with the wonderful questions. And she asks, what causes spotting every day between cycles except on ovulation day? Yeah, I think you're getting a little bit too low progesterone levels there. That can be really common to see something like that occurring, especially if cycles are really short like that and you're constantly getting spotting. I would want you to start doing something like chase tree. Um, chase tree, wonderful for helping the brain signal to get LH signaling right and help your cycles hold out a little bit longer too. I'm not sure if what what age group you're in or what period of life in terms of perimenopausal or menopausal, because that will have things differ a little bit here too. But that is a great question, and that would be my number one thing there to be looking at. I'll be getting those levels tested and looked at, and I don't think. Let me look at the Mountain Valley herb source because I'm not sure if they have chase tree on there, but we can look it up. I'm just trying to find you a good 40. Okay. All normal hormone labs except ferritin is low. Yeah, I'd even wonder what hormones were looked at because there's multiple different estrogens that you should be getting looked at, and that should be done in the blood and in the urine. And it's too often that I see people just getting an estradiol number looked at, and that is one of three main estrogens that you should get, and then also like six other metabolites that need to be looked at too, because the conversion of hormones do make probably some of the biggest differences. The majority of the time, I don't see production issues causing the majority of problems there hormonally, but nothing coming in from the YouTubers so far. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why this camera is shaking when it's not attached to anything but the ground, except for the ground. Like, how can. All right, I'm going to shake this. It still moves. I don't know. Anyways, let's. Yeah, for Nicole, the ferritin, you want to be doing definitely getting stomach acid up and doing something like an organ meat of some kind. And the fact that you're 40 in that ballpark, maybe even doing something like a adrenal gland with liver mixed in there too. Okay, wait, Marcella, I'm going to come back to you because she left some more details in here. Estradiol, progesterone, LH, FSH, prolactin, DHEA, TSH. Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start to base things off of too. Um, yeah, send me a DM. I'll give you my personal email. You can forward me that lab, and then I could show you what to do. And not no charges associated with this. Just trying to build as big of a health community online as we can here, and give away some good value here before we get the office rolling. I'm opening a practice, so we're giving away a ton of guidance and value, and obviously from all natural perspective here, but I'll point you toward the best sources to get things from what I'm seeing, and like I mentioned with the organ meats and a couple of the medicinal herbs that you could be doing just to help out with some of these conversions, because I'd be curious to see how much testosterone you're holding on to there, and if that's maybe a little bit higher, and we can convert some of that down, um, that would do you really well. But stress also plays a role, and then chemically too, what we're doing for foods, so we can have you start to isolate foods specifically for the different weeks of the cycle there. And what do I send you? Just send me a message on here, and I'll respond back and give you my email there. And as soon as this live is done, as I've been doing with the past couple weeks, when I get done with the lives, then I'll email everybody, ask for the labs that you do have if you do have them, and then we'll get all the things written up for you guys. So I love extra help. Beginning to think a little sinister. It's been 1.5 years. Okay, well, the human body is meant for normal. Human body is not meant for disease. That is not how you're genetically programmed. No matter what people may say to you on here. So, um, but yeah, I mean, it's a matter of getting the different stressors down in your life, looking for different immune responses and triggers there, and then supporting things hormonally with normal conversions. But okay, Marcelo, if you're still hanging in there, okay, he's in here. I could see some of the people in the top viewers or whatever having gut issues and acne. So already thinking of deficiencies here. Found the basement drain, still water, probably with mold. How do you detox some of this? I mean, getting things that can filter the air quality. So something like an air doctor, something like a My Triad air filter, even if you could just get the portable ones if you are on a budget here, and just keeping that maybe next to you when you're sleeping. And supporting the nasal cavity too with something like a colloidal silver nasal spray just for anything airborne coming into the system. You can already start, working on that and stuff. I swear, guys, this stupid thing keeps shaking and it's driving me crazy because it's like, anyways. Um, Also, I like something like Japanese knotweed in here. I like something like Romanium. I like things like dandelion root. So if you guys are looking for great places to get the liquid herbs that I keep talking about, I always put them in the chat here. So that's from the mountained rose herbs there. What kind of therapy could you do after high ankle sprain as some things to do at home? So you need to be Cruz, hey, what's up? With that sucks. A high ankle sprain sucks. And I'm not sure how new this is, but if you're starting the journey here for a couple weeks out of initially getting injured with this, proprioception is really important. So focusing on balancing, because that does not require you to get into, crazy ranges of motion. It's mainly isometric movements, which is totally cool for where you're at in this stage because you don't want to be pushing range of motion too far. You'll start to tear that tissue that's trying to rebuild right now. So look up proprioceptive, foot and double and single leg training that you can do. And there's probably some great videos out there on some at home things you can do. Any advice for self criticism? Wow. Um, like being too hard on yourself there. I mean, from a health standpoint, I see issues with the GI. So you can have commensals that are not high enough, and I would just push you to get some fermented foods into the system there. And then something like California poppy too. That's the link I posted on there. Great place to get it. Fantastic herb. Or something like kava. That's another great one. But mentally, how to framework this. I mean, I don't see self criticism as something that's like terrible. It can go too far. Maybe doing thinking of the future self. That's probably the best way to go about it. Like, okay, the actions that I take or don't take right now lead to either positives or negatives for who you are in the future there. For instance, staying up too late. You know that the next day, if you're staying up all night, you're eating a bunch of sugar at 12 a.m., that in the morning you're probably going to feel terrible and you're probably going to be, in your head all the time. Um, Stressed out more than usual. So putting the future self ahead of you right now and just making those little steps to aim to be, you know, you looking back in the future and going, thank God I did this. Thank God I folded these clothes. Thank God I cooked extra. Thank God I all that. You want to thank your future self, and then that creates a positive dopamine cycle with your own actions, and it just keeps growing. Leave a $10 bill in your coat. Um, Things like that, or pre-make your coffee the next day so that you can just pour water in and then you go right to it. That's overlooked, but that can actually do you some really good in terms of building good feedback there. Okay, I have a germ guardian air purifier in my room and a dehumidifier in the basement with that drain. Okay, good. So we're focusing on some air qualities and things. Oregon grape, I like doing that. Albizia, interesting. Apple cider vinegar, aloe vera juice, CY complex, beautiful. Probiotic. Um, Beam minerals, I'm not sure what those are, but silver is also a good one. And I wonder how you're feeling, because that's a good starting point. I would just be curious as to the potency and where you're getting those things from, because you don't want to be buying things that say that they're one thing and they are not that thing. So that happens more than you think, especially in the supplement world. But hello, what kind of doc are you? How long have you been a doc? I am a chiro and health restoration focused here. So basically, reducing mental, chemical, and physical stressors over time, figuring out where those things occur on in depth lab work, whether that be stool, saliva, blood, urine testing, and then using all of those labs to back that up with what the individual is telling me, and then finding, okay, well, how do we reduce these stressors and just promote the normal healing process that occurs inside your body so that you can get back to normal, which you can get back to normal. It's just a matter of pulling stressors away and letting inflammation calm down, letting the body do what it's designed to do, which is to heal you. But we just got to get enough time and consistency with the right things. So that is a good, I should probably put a little, I keep saying this, I should probably put a little snippet that pops up when you join of what's going on here. But Tweety, good afternoon. Glad to see you back. Any natural ways to reduce blood pressure? Yeah, I mean, number one, figuring out why blood pressure is high. There can be a million different reasons. I think sugar's a big reason. I think work stress, that's a big reason. I think not enough movement. I think poor electrolyte balancing. So people think that salt is a bad thing. Refined salt is a bad thing, but unrefined salt and potassium, when they're in balance, you can lower blood pressure a ton. Um, so there's that. There's also dandelion root. That's a great one too. Things like inversion tables, and I'll be cutting out some sugars there. But those are a good list of things. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Hello. Good afternoon, Mr. Gray Hair Guy. Randy, how we doing? Suggestions on the milk. she wants she only wants 3 bottles a day. So you mean feeding with the kiddo or producing enough milk for you? If it's the kiddo, I would wonder when she got adjusted last. I think you were saying that you're bringing her to a chiro, but just to help, um, regulate the kid's nervous system so that she can calm down some of the excitatory things and have some gut motility. Because sometimes when they're getting a little bloated and things, obviously you can do the I love you pattern on the belly. Okay, wait. No, giving her whole milk transitioning. Yeah, I mean, I wonder how old she is, and I'd be curious there. I mean, maybe something like colostrum can help with that. She only wants 3 bottles a day. Also, some medicinal mushrooms there too for young kiddos growing up. That is one of the best initial foods that you can do with them. Obviously, those are powder forms that you'd put in milk and things, but um, treatment for head tremor from dystonia. I mean, you can do things like ginkgo and go to cola and see some benefit there, but that's going to be real complex and probably going to need some GI work there too. I got a shoulder injury working out. Anytime I pull push and have resistance with my hand hurts. With my hand, it hurts. Okay. So any pulling or pushing, what do I do? Hmm. I would wonder what got injured because that's going to tell us how we go about some rehab things. Yeah, I would need to know what tissues are involved here. My daughter has ear tubes. Um, if she would get an ear infection, what would you suggest? Definitely going to that initial Cairo visit just to get fluid moving throughout that eustachian tube. There's one. And then again, back to those medicinal mushrooms. You can do very small, affordable amounts of turkey tail and reishi for young kiddos like that, and they do fantastic. And maybe even some silver drops within the ear, colloidal silver. I got oh, I didn't. Somebody put a chat in on YouTube and then they took it away. So, okay, wait, let me catch up here. Sorry, little technical issue. Okay, we are back. Keeps doing that. I want the live chat. Thank you very much. Okay, there we go. No matter what I do, oh no, TikTok scrolling me down to the bottom of the comments. No matter what I do, my endometriosis seems to get worse. I'm working with the Wellness Way in Wisconsin. Interesting. Send me a message about this. I'd be curious to see what you're doing and how. I mean, number one is always how strictly are you following what we're giving you? Because that's the hardest part is following the recommendations, especially if there's lifestyle recommendations in there too. Um, I would also wonder dietarily what's going on with things there. It is very hard with a case like that to do vegan or vegetarian based things. So I'd be curious on foods and types of foods there, and I'd be curious as to what you're taking in things. So and what was tested and some further details there. But you could message me on here or put it in the chat. Got a job interview on Wednesday. Nice. We are so back. Glad to see you're back. What can we play for him? Glad to see you're back. Deltoid. Okay. Deltoid's in pain when putting stress on it. I mean, you can get like from Amazon or something that you can use with, whipped beef tallow or something that you can get it's called like a fishbone or a bullhorn, basically like an eye stem or a massage scraper almost. You could do a similar thing with a spoon, honestly, and just taking that spoon and totally taking it through. If you have a massage gun, obviously getting in there as things heal a little bit more. And then eccentric strengthening. Um, Whenever you have muscle fiber or tendon issues, eccentric strengthening is one of your best bets. And then some type of distraction there too. So maybe even light forms of dead hanging or going on a lat pull down machine with like some powerlifting wrist wraps and just letting yourself hang there and let it pull. Okay. Dude, the camera keeps shaking and I can't figure this out. I literally can't figure this out because I'm moving like this desk is not connected to the camera at all, but it freaking moves, dude. What is up with that? I feel so restricted. It's like I can't even move, you know? Or else it gets like an earthquake for the viewers. All right, we'll keep the movement to a minimum. I feel like Pedro Pascal crying. It's how I feel when the camera's shaking. Anyways, enough about me. Let me scroll back up. I got sick. How long? I got sick. How long dose does it take to get better? I'd wonder of what? Dose of what? Has the silver, beautiful. What if my blood pressure is at 90 every blank? Is that bad? And how can I spike it up a little bit? If you mean systolic, I'd be very curious about electrolytes. Again, people don't realize unrefined salt, unrefined sodium, you need like 5 grams a day. That's like 5,000 milligrams a day. Obviously, size will depend on this too, but potassium as well, magnesium as well. So it's like, my goodness, is anyone getting that much? Probably not. And the range is there. Potassium's not 5 grams a day. Potassium's more like 3 to 4 grams a day, and magnesium very similar. But I would lean towards your magnesium and potassium rich foods. I can send you guides on those things as well. You're going to hear some dogs barking right now. Someone must be near us. It's the 10-pound guard dogs coming after him. She's waving at you. Okay, wait. Lord Bolt, hello. Okay, back to H. I've been following the instructions very strictly. Oh, I have mold toxicity. That is not fun. Not fun at all. But yeah, make sure you're avoiding those foods. Make sure you're following the recs for subs and things. But are you doing any mold containing foods that keep coming into contact with there? And what are we doing for the liver to help things convert out? So, but I wonder, like, are you struggling with some constipation that's starting up again? Have you even had a stool test, or is it just the mold? Um, but yes, I'm thinking about. I think I'm coming down with something. People, vitamin D. Holy crap! Get your vitamin D going, please. We are in a red alert for vitamin D, depending on where you live, obviously. But if you're not getting in the sun every day, you should be doing some vitamin D. Um, Hi, how's it going? What helps with tongue ulcerations? There's probably going to be some type of trigger here, either some viral trigger that's happening here, reactivation, or that there are constant food allergies that are bugging your system. I do like things like chamomile and slippery elm, so I will put the link in here again. Um, this is just a very clean place that you can get those things. But if you want more tailored guidance on what to be doing, also aloe vera juice, very soothing to this as well, and helps a lot with the mucosal membranes and things too. So, do you recommend eating apples? I mean, they're great. Make sure you get some protein with that too. Um, Jordan with the W in the chat. Beautiful. I'm stopping diazepam this week. How long is the withdrawal symptoms? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. That is out of my wheelhouse. I'm all natural things here. So for things, medical questions and stuff on medications or surgeries or injections, I'm not your guy. But um, can you do things that will help assist coming off those things? Yes. Something like kava probably do you very well coming off of that. Or bolt, I know. Elena, I deal with migraines. Oof, those are not fun. Migraines are pretty much the worst for anybody. Luckily enough, I'm not somebody that has gone through crazy migraines. I'm very thankful of that because it's horrible. Um, but there's a hell of a lot that connects back to that electrolyte story that I was talking about earlier. Also, the things that happen with our food, the allergic responses that happen with our food, even the IgG, IgE allergic responses. It doesn't have to be, a crazy peanut allergy. These are things like wheat that are slow, delayed reactions that you don't really see creep up on you until you're now bloating up like a balloon every time you eat something. So there's that. I would drop corn. I would drop soy products. Again, with the electrolytes, maybe getting something like an Ultima powder comes with a ton of electrolytes in there. They taste damn good, especially in some cold water with some ice in there. Great stuff you can do. Doc, I have bronchitis from the flu since last Saturday. No meds. Any foods to avoid or have? Your bone broth. Get your bone broth going like crazy. Make sure you're doing your vitamin D like crazy. Also, OSHA. OSHA, great thing to be doing. Again, I'll post the little herb link down below. Um, but again, I can send you forms and things through the DM. Well, send me a DM. I'll send you my email and give you a whole bunch of forms and things on like little sick care recipes that you can be doing. Vitamin D, yes, vitamin D like crazy. And you kind of want to do a little bit more right now too. Also, again with the electrolytes, if you're sick, and maybe even protein shakes and things like that, since you're kind of that um, in a position where you may not want to eat and things. So, for I don't know if you guys like the Equip Prime protein, but I'll do that later. Um, is it true garlic opens up the sinuses? Yeah, garlic, pretty cool. You can, I recommend doing this on a weekend, but you can take like a clove of garlic and then just take one bulb at a time and cut them up very small and basically just treat them like a capsule. You'll have to sit there for a while till you get a whole little bulb or clove down, basically one little piece of it. But then you can do that every couple hours with one of them and do that over the weekend and you'll see some change there with gut motility and just cleaning things out, if you know what I mean. So very affordable way to do that. um, is it going to cure things? No, but it's going to help. It's about 3,000 IUs. I don't know how what your size is because that will play on things and where vitamin D's at now, but anywhere between 2 and 5,000 IUs depending on your size really. But that's like my general range for that. I made turkey soup last night with bone broth. Oh my goodness. Bella Francesca. Heck yeah. It's a great little combo there. How do we get electrolytes without all the sugar they put? I know. Um, there are good brands that make good powders and things that you can just get and use depending on who you are. Some people like doing them individually, so they'll get like Celtic sea salt, they'll get a good source of magnesium, and then they'll get some potassium there as well, and then just use that individually to do things. But if you're not trying to tinker around with dosing and things, then you can just get like Ultima or LMNT, like the actual letters, and put those in your water, and they taste fantastic. I freaking love doing those. I've been getting into it more and more. I've been doing the electrolyte thing, but just the flavored ones, it's kind of nice. What's the herb for vitamin D? There's no herb. It's just vitamin D 3 with K2 in there. Orthomolecular has some good liquid ones that it's easier to adjust the dosing with. So I like doing it that way. That way you just have one dropper of vitamin D 3 K2 from Orthomolecular, great brand to be getting that from. And you can just dose things per drop. So I think it's 1,000 IU's for one drop, and it comes with like a million drops. So you'll have vitamin D for the whole winter basically, and very affordable with the K2 in there too. So Matthew, when we lose the hour of sun, I know because of winter, does vitamin C help? Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between vitamin C and then like emergency packets from CVS. So there's a big difference there. Um, your best bet is vitamin D and medicinal mushrooms. Those are your by far your best bets because you're going to have a lot of the constituents. You're even going to have some electrolytes. You're going to have magnesium, potassium. You're going to have vitamin C and all those things inside of the medicinal mushrooms. So that's where it gets really cool is that you can have multiple things in there. Why are these things getting filtered? Um, sorry, I had some. They don't believe me. I can show you my degree. It's in the other room, but what is up with these filtrations? It's literally Bella Francesca asking about coconut milk, and it's filtering it. So, okay, wait. Let me get the chats pulled up over here. I think we covered all those. But yeah, good point about the sun. Great point about that. What do you think about coconut milk? I don't drink milk because of the added hormones, which I think is great that you don't do that. I do like something like coconut milk. It's just back to the food allergy thing. Everybody's going to have different allergies that they respond to. So, like for me, coconut milk is probably one of the best alternatives for a lot of things. But I'm highly allergic to coconut milk or coconut in general. So, I mean, highly allergic in the sense that I just get bloated like crazy and feel terrible, but not in like an anaphylactic sense. It's actually lessening now that time goes on, but still still on the list to avoid. Yeah, just make sure you got a good organic source with minimal ingredients in there. Hello, my granddaughter has atopic eczema. What can I use for itchiness? And what can I use instead of steroid creams? I like what Randy comes in here and he always complimenting on my hair. Randy's always in here complimenting on my hair. So, one of the best things, whipped beef tallow, because you're going to have a ton of vitamin A in there. It is very hydrating and helps the skin actually rebuild its barriers there. But the core issue with something like a skin response like that is to look at the immune responses and to look at the GI, because if there's constant food triggers, you're going to continuously run into that. That's why I think chamomile is a good way to start too. Um, and you can put that in like a warm cup of water. It's also very relaxing for the central nervous system there as well, and helps with the brain here too. So with with that, definitely whipped beef tallow, along with some chamomile in there, and probably a food allergy test. Because depending on how old she's 6 months. That was my next question. Then yeah, I would be doing the whipped beef tallow topically. I'll be doing chamomile and very small amounts of medicinal mushrooms, and you'll probably see that improve. But you have to pull away the immune triggers. You have to pull away gluten. You're probably going to want to pull away some dairy there for a while, and we could see some really good change there. But send me a message. I'll write you up a whole thing to follow and where to get stuff from and all that. Okie doke. True, I used to drink almond milk, but apparently I read up on glyphosate that it can contain, which is true. I mean, obviously, going for the best sources of things is how you avoid some of that. But yeah, I mean, coconut in general is going to be better milk, anyways. I have a quick question. What is your medical background? No medications here. Not a medical provider. So everything is from a natural health perspective, talking about medicinal herbs, mushrooms, glandulars, all things that you can use with getting labs done as well, which I think is extremely important. I think people play the guessing game a little bit too much, and that's where things get expensive. So you cut that cost down is one by sticking to the recommendations set out for one thing, but then having tests to back up the reasons why you're doing stuff. So yeah, credentials, doctor of chiropractic. But I've been taking courses for ever since I've been out of school. I've taken several vaccine courses, which is pretty interesting there, um, as well as learning all this additional stuff too. So, whew, caught a little break. Nice. I have thyroid problems, enlarged thyroid. What can I use? You have to figure out the immune triggers, um, and where your deficiencies are coming from. So, building blocks for thyroid hormones, which is one reason to have enlargement there, is a goiter from an iodine deficiency, which is pretty much everybody at this point being deficient in some degree of iron. But there's that. There's looking at autoimmune antibodies as well, because that is extremely common. I would say over half the people I look at have some form of antibody taking place for the thyroid there. Pretty alarming, but that's just to show how much toxicity is currently in the world there. And it's avoiding as many pesticides as you can, avoiding as many inflammatory foods as possible, avoiding soy, doing things like iodine from sea kelp, doing some Brazil nuts, doing a little bit of thyroid tissue mixed with liver that you can get encapsulated. So, like a thyroid glandular, because that'll have about 130 micrograms of T4 in there and like 30 micrograms of T3. And there you get, okay, cool. We got building blocks for that. We got the iodine in there. We got the Brazil nuts going. But more importantly than anything is to get testing done. Definitely getting food allergies looked at. Definitely getting full thyroid panel so that you can see TSH, T3, T4, free in total. So you can see reverse T3, T uptake, and the antibodies there. And there we go. We got some haters in the chat too. What's up, George? How we doing? Just starting with the slurs already. No hello. No happy Saturday. How we doing? You got a little quiet. Oh, never mind. I read about a tincture with wormwood. Yeah, that's a really aggressive way to do things, though. Cloves, black walnut. What can you tell me about it? I wouldn't be doing those right now. Um, yeah, they're fantastic herbs. It's just you want to use the right things at the right time. Um, I see more, more things connected to helping out with the adrenals and helping out with the immune responses that are excessive, and then covering deficiencies, which are extremely common. So there is that. Um, but aside from that, what else we get here? Happy Saturday. Thanks, George. Why do you exploit people's health? What do you mean? What do you mean exploit people's health? They're asking me the questions, right? Um, how to cure cataracts? Oof. I mean, from a health standpoint, like, can we figure out certain antioxidants to be doing, certain vitamins like vitamin A in its natural form from things like liver? You can have benefits, but to cure things. That's the wrong form of thinking. We need to figure out how we got there and how you start unwinding this um, knot that we're tied up in. But I've actually spoken. I have a nurse as a patient, and she was letting me know because she's in the field of cataracts and things, that post immune therapy that was done during the 2020 era, um, she's seeing everybody with those have major problems with cataracts at a very young age. So, should chiropractors call themselves doctors? It's doctor of chiropractic, and just the true name there. I'm into herbs, natural supplements, and vitamins 1,000%. Why is this being so crazy? Sorry, my comments are not loading. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. I've had. Okay, wait. Y says Doctor of Chiropractic. What? Yes, that is what I am, what I do. Which basically focuses on mental, chemical, and physical stress and getting those things down, supporting just normal physiology and things. Okay, let me get back to. Okay, there's some people that are very confused here. All right, we got the soundboard here for a reason. So, quick question for you guys.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
I mean, this is misleading for individuals who do not know the difference. The name of this account is Dr. Antonio DC, Doctor of Chiropractic. That's what it means. It's misleading to people who think they're qualified to govern any medical advice. Can you name a single medication or surgery that we've talked about on here? Because that's what medical advice is. We're talking about normal physiology, we're talking about food, we're talking about supplementation, we're talking about lifestyle. What the hell are you talking about?
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
When I have a PhD in literature and introduce myself as Dr. Y. Okay, congratulations. But that's a PhD in a subject. I think if someone has any health issue, direct them to see their medical doctor. They've already seen them. Why do you think people are on here? Dude, you're talking about cataracts. Completely incorrect. I'm talking about a nurse that's in the field, that's seen connections with vitamin A and seen connections with viral proteins that were injected into people and causing harm. And that's from the medical providers, to be very clear. So you order tests that you don't know how to interpret. Yes, I do. I do this every day. This is all I study. So I allow the haters in here, but as soon as we become disruptive, like I like to have some fun and see if we can reach some type of conclusion. But this is we gotta get these guys out of here. This is what they sound like.
Call me asparagus.
This is literally what these people sound like. Freaking DJ Khaled in the chat. Anyways, what else we got? Got another one. All right, one more cleanup crew, and then we'll be back to it, folks. I try to keep them in here, try to reach some type of common ground, which it's like, I mean, any doctor in the world that's dealing with patients and health, you would want to see them improve, right? You would want to see their health improve. So if I'm doing that, I don't know. And this is by correcting food, by getting mental stress down, supporting normal physiology. It's kind of crazy. And the haters have been in the comments on every one of my videos. So from now on, I'm just responding with books, backing up everything I do and say. So it's been pretty fun so far. and they usually go quiet after I give a response. It's pretty interesting. They get all mouthy, and then I explain it, and they're like crickets. Long chirp noise. Ghost Laura, what do you think of GLP-1s? I don't use them. I help people get their body to produce enough of this stuff on its own. So talking about dosing and whether or not to take it, not my position to do so. I'm more of somebody that says, okay, let's reduce some sugar. Let's make sure that we're doing the right amount of calories to gain or to head towards our specific goal weight that we want to reach, because calories do matter, and what those calories are made up of also matters there too. There's also a lot of mental stress components that allow women to hold on to a lot of weight. Thyroid function also plays into this as well. And if you're really focusing on getting enough proteins in, you can have more of a thermogenic effect on your tissues because you're going to be building more lean muscle. So things like, in the exercise sense of things, sprinting, resistance training, going after more protein like crazy, especially in the morning. And I'm usually seeing people, and this is what I'll talk about on the whole weight loss presentation that we'll do. Still working on finishing that. I have to write up a bunch of more stuff, but you know, protein getting or people wait to eat a lot of the times. People are waiting until the end of the day or waiting until lunch to start consuming some food, which is a very silly idea because you're going to engage in some sarcopenia when you're doing that. So I think it's way, and this is based off the literature there, way better to get those things in as soon as in the morning, 8, 9 a.m., and then, doing more of a late lunch and skipping dinner if you want to do some type of intermittent timed eating there or restricted time eating. But yeah, when you're skipping breakfast, that it harms you a bunch. But there's a lot that plays into this. So big pharma is in business because they don't cure and keep people on meds, and that's their money making. I mean, I I look at it more as like the medical world has to see all kinds of people, and most of them don't work on themselves. So there is that, and they're helping people stay alive, which is 100% true. They do keep people alive, but that doesn't mean your quality of life is exceptional. So I would rather, go toward the people that want to improve their life. Say, hey, how do I do this? How do I reach this goal? How do I make this change? Whatever, and give them, lists and benchmarks and things to do to give the patient, number one, the healing power into their hands, because if you can just create the right environment, the body does heal itself. I mean, you can cut your finger, you don't have to eat a salad for that cut to seal up. Your body knows what to do. So, but yeah, I think it's kind of emotional for a lot of people. It's really, okay, what do you want? You have health freedom in this country. You can go and see any type of doc that you want to see. If you are already doing that and you're not getting anywhere because you are not in a life or death scenario, okay, now we need to look at the chessboard and what our next moves are. And usually it's getting more labs done, because all you get done through insurance is a CBC, a CMP, and a lipid panel, and maybe like insulin, maybe, or an hemoglobin A1C. It's like all you freaking get there. Um, that's my 2 cents on it. But I don't think people are maliciously like trying to harm others. I think insurance does ruin it for a lot of people and handcuffs a lot of providers, which is very unfortunate. But they do keep people alive, and you gotta hand that to them. Okay, I ranted a little bit longer than I thought I would on that. I think I missed one. Um, where did we? This, we got George, blah, blah, blah. Oh, protein has been hard for me because I'm vegetarian. Okay, I mean, at the very least, I would be doing like Blueprint. This is more of a vegan protein, but Blueprint has a pretty good vegan product out there. Not that it's the best protein source to get from, but it is the best one I've seen for people asking about that. You got to see this post I saw yesterday. You'd love it. I go 6 hours without eating sometimes. That's a good range. It's just when people do that in the morning, that's when you run into some trouble. The body is meant to heal. Any ideas what would cause continuous high platelets, even though a hematologist says that it is all normal? There's probably some issue there with anemia, for one thing, and really common to see in vegetarians and things. I would just wonder if you would ever do like an organ meat capsule. That would probably change your life. Um, Iron deficiency runs low always. Well, yeah, that's going to affect platelets there. Um, so issues with B vitamins, issues with uh, different forms of iron in there. I would be doing like liver glandular, literally liver in a capsule, and it would probably change your life. Um, but you know, that's my best. That's my best recommendation. It's tough. It's really tough, and people get too hung up on carnivore or vegan or whatever. You can live a healthy life as a vegetarian. You can. So don't let that get to you. It can be done. It's just got to be. You have to prep for food and have a lot of your time and effort delved into making a bunch of a bunch of things food wise. There's the main protein source, but it is very inflammatory. It is. Um, it really is. So yeah, it's probably some iron issues there. I don't know. There's so many. It's like you can just get an Equip Foods Prime Protein, but that's a beef protein isolate. It's probably a fantastic source that you could be doing things from. But um, for the Ghost Laura, I've been doing some iron infusions, which has helped a little bit. Beautiful. So that there's that. I'm not sure how expensive they are, but I think they can be depending on how it's done and things. But this is you put me in a bit of a pickle, Ghost Laura. $300. Oh my god. Laura, just get some damn liver capsules, my friend. I know. The cows. I know. Um, it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, I mean, you can do some medicinal mushrooms in there for the platelets and things. For, something like reishi or turkey tail, you can get some other constituents from those and just have better immune factors there. But brand of capsules do you recommend for like the organ meat stuff? Probably Heart and Soil is probably your best bet. This guy. Just because they come in glass, and they're very very heavy dosing. Um, yeah, just send me a message. In part of for you don't know, I don't know if you're. I think I've seen your name in here though. But I'm opening up a practice of my own in Randolph, New Jersey. But until then, we got a couple months until I'm taking on patients and things. So I've been just giving away all my stuff as much as possible. So send me a DM on here. I will give you my email, give you the whole breakdown. We could do a phone call or something like that. Um, and then yeah, just make a game plan for you, and just trying to build as healthy of a community on here as possible. So showing you guys behind the curtains, which I do enjoy honestly. And we got some months between now and when I'm like having EHR software running payments and things. So Yeah, you can. The state doesn't matter. The state that you could be anywhere. That's the cool part about the internet today. There's no restriction on where you are. What conditions do you specialize in? Not condition based. This is all of what is health. And here, let me just, I haven't said this in a while. Your body is meant to be in homeostasis. So if you are constantly stressing out, constantly eating inflammatory foods, or eating something that's going to throw your balance off inside the body, depleted in electrolytes, depleted in sleep, got some gut motility issues, no fiber coming into the system, beating the heck out of your body physically, or not training enough, or overtraining, just to like randomly say a couple things there, those all of those things are going to pull you out of homeostasis to be either in a sense of deficiency or toxicity. So there's an adaptive physiological mechanism because your body is intelligent. Your body knows how to heal itself. It is literally programmed. If you get a cut on the palm of your hand, it will reform in the exact way that it was before. You don't have to tell it to do that. You don't have to put anything on it. It just knows how to do that. And when you cut your hand or your finger, it's easier to think of it that way. But when it comes to visceral tissues, it's the same thing. And if you can get the nervous and immune responses to calm down, because that nervous and immune system are the only two systems that respond to all three mental, chemical, and physical stressors. And they change the other systems in the body, the hormonal systems, the digestive system, your mental health. They all get thrown off from the primary system. So I think looking at all of the systems is a smart way to do it, or looking at the most, issue based ones is kind of how you start the journey. But you uncover new stones as time goes on, and it takes time, it takes consistency, it takes energy on everybody's part. So it's a different form of care, and it's a form of care that, I mean, really requires two parties to be working at, because it only works if both parties are trying. So I mean, if you take really good formulated supplements and things, it's like, okay, you can probably have some change occur there, but are you going to get back to ground zero? Then no. Is it hard to stick to diagnosing and treating musculoskeletal conditions, aka within your scope? Well, like I said, I'm a chiropractor, so within my scope means mental, chemical, and physical stress. You're just trying to put us in the box of what um, insurance coding, billing and coding adds up to, which is not who I am or what I do or what I study or anything. So that's a piece of the physical stressors, or in the physiological language, mental or thoughts, toxins, and trauma. That's, you could read all 10 of the green books and learn a crap ton about what I'm talking about here, which is all adaptive physiology. And that's what the entire profession is based upon. Just the AMA and the medical system did a great job putting out propaganda over the last 100 years. But if it didn't work, I wouldn't be here, right? With this degree. So sorry, not sorry. And I mean, once again,
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness? Are you?
here we go. Okay, so you treat and diagnose mental issues, GI issues. No. No. Okay? This is looking at functionality, how well the body works. So if you have a stool test, say I run a stool test, and we have low fiber in the GI, we have poor microbials, so lessened commensal bacteria of your own. Okay, why is that? Maybe it's due to some toxicity there. Maybe there's some chemical stressors coming in the system that are throwing these things off. We need some more fiber. We also need to repopulate the GI. It's looking at it from a health perspective to get functionality back. Um, all these systems are connected. But in the medical system, it is to diagnose and treat with medications and surgeries, and that's what they do. And I'm not against that. It that is their job, is to take diagnoses. And but aside from a medication or a surgery, what does the diagnosis tell you to do? I'll wait. So yeah, I mean, it's a different form of healthcare. It's to say, okay, let's look at things from a stressor point of view. And if you can reduce your stressors, your body's going to have more functionality to get the healing done. Um, but if that's not what you want to do, that is totally cool with me. I'm not making you do anything. Um, but yeah, it's just that basically differentiation there. But it's trying to answer, why aren't you healthy? What is health in the first place? I mean, can anybody name that? What do you guys think health is? Put your answers down below. Let me start asking you guys some questions. Get a little. But, anyways, eating clean, movement, physical activity. Those are things that can help you with health, but that's not what health is, right? Because just like if I cut my finger, do I have to sleep or eat a healthy salad or run on a treadmill to make that cut heal back up? You know? But for somebody like a hemophiliac, they can get a paper cut and almost die, right? So, oh, hold on, Mary Beckett. To me, good health is the ability to do what I would like to do without considering health limitations. That's a common answer too. So, like, the absence of disease is a common answer, which I disagree with that as well. Health is how well your body adapts and functions. And that word adapt, or think of that word, health is the F word. Health is the F word. Health is how well your body functions. And what I was talking about before with homeostasis, that healthy range that your body's always trying to keep you in. When you can't stay within that healthy range, your adaptive physiology starts to fail to adapt. And you get what? A disease. So your body created a disease to try and adapt your physiology to the environment that's taking place. So, no, I don't look at things like a condition thing. It's more of, okay, here are stressors in somebody's life, taking their physiology out of adaptation. You're starting to fail to adapt to the normal processes that happen in your body, and your body has to create a disease in order to stay alive. Because if somebody gets cancer, if they didn't, that cancer is an adaptation. And if they didn't get that cancer, they would be dead already. Cancer is their body trying to take all those bad cells, clump them up into tumors so that the immune response can attack the hell out of it. That is genius. That is not, you see what I mean? But there's still something going wrong there. You're still failing to adapt. Just the body's doing everything it can to basically get itself back to normal. Okay, we can disagree though. We can disagree. Go get a vaccine. It's time for your flu shot. Go get it. Have fun. We'll see how that works. Just come and see the patients that I have helped. Freaking horrible recommendations in my point of view, right? Anyways, Mary, by the way, I am 61, have no big health issues, but I don't always feel up to doing things. So having some, I mean, is it energy or motivation that seems to be more of the issues? I mean, we can concerned with some thyroid things going on there too, but you can do 61. You can maybe do something like Makuna seed, very affordable, a little bit harder trying to find some clean, powerful version of that. But it's basically precursors to dopamine that are extremely motivating because dopamine is basically what gives you drive, but also plays a role in sex drive and also plays a role in other areas of the body too. So I don't know anything about you though. I don't know if there are some iron deficiency issues going on, if there are some thyroid hormone production or conversion issues going on, then that can be a big clue into what we see here. But off the top of my head, dopamine primary issue, especially with our technology and our phones and not moving our bodies enough and eating sugary foods that are just constantly draining something like dopamine. And now, yeah, you're gonna not be very motivated at all. But also, back to I was saying this way back in the beginning. Do things for your future self. Like I said, put that $20 bill in a future coat pocket that you're going to wear next spring. Go to bed earlier so that you know tomorrow morning you're like, thank God I did that. Make sure you tighten up on the sugary foods and beverages and things so that later on you're like, wow, I feel so good. Thank God for the old me. You want to be looking into your future self. That's how you start to build positive dopamine feedback loops with your own body and your own way of um, accomplishing things and being motivated about things and being happy about getting things done. So I think that's a pretty cool thing you can do. But yes, anyways. Keep speaking about vaccines which are evidence based and outside of your scope. There's not been a single study with a placebo involved with them. They compare one vaccine to other vaccine adjuvants. There's never been a single study, and you're sitting here saying, I'm the one that's not evidence based? You're freaking out of your mind. Out of your mind, dude. And two, look at the pediatric population. It's the worst health we've ever had in human history for pediatric health. Anyways, crazy, crazy people. I swear half of these are bots. There's no way that these freaking half of these people are even real. At least in my comment section, because when I respond to them, they don't respond. Anyways, what do we got here? Oh no. Did I freeze? I think I froze for a second. I think I froze. I like when you guys give me little breaks here. It's kind of nice. Okie doke. Keeps freezing? I thought it was freezing. I had a feeling. It looks like it's back up to speed though. Let me know when the stream's not as choppy. Boy, you just gotta love technology, huh? Just love it. Sean girl, what's up? How we doing? See you popping in here. Just getting a little afternoon live going. Trying to figure out why my camera's shaking when it's not connected to anything. Look at that. Independent camera. And it shakes when I just give a little push to my desk. Speaking of freezing, it's freezing in my room here. It's freaking freezing in my room. Anyways, we had some fun here so far. Oh my god, it's been an hour? Holy heck. No wonder it slowed down a bit. Usually around 30-minute marks, hour marks, it starts, everything is frequency, energies, vibration, which kind of true there. Oh, Mitchell does gastroparesis. Woof, seizures, woof, and migraines relate together. I mean, every system is related together. Seizures can happen for a number of different reasons, from heavy metals to things like um, tick infections, things like Lyme. So I've seen both of those. What else did you ask about the GI there too? The GI definitely influenced by a lot of immune factors there too. So if there, it sounds like there's something from an immune standpoint that is throwing off the GI and the brain here as well, um, which will in turn throw off the nervous system. So that does make sense. But I would wonder if you had any lab testing done already. I would want to see those labs and see what we can start to dig up here from a functional perspective. Even if things look like they're in the normal range, but they're damn near close to being out of range, that's something that we want to look at, right? Um, but yeah, I'd be curious. Jessica Wilson, I think I've seen you on here before. I'm not sure. But how we doing? Do you know why I'm not getting better after 4 iron infusions and 15 blood transfusions are not helping? Wow, for a while. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that's very interesting. I wonder what you're doing dietarily, if you're doing any vegan or vegetarian based things. Um, but looking definitely looking into things like magnesium and chlorophyll. Begged for a hematologist. Okay, I mean, do you have labs? I will look up them and direct us on what we need to do. Um, but sometimes when that happens, if there is a small ulceration within the GI, you can be basically leaking, um, bleeding internally and not seeing that show up in your poop. So that can be another big connection there. And I've seen that a couple times where people like you, they're like, what the heck? I'm doing everything right for iron stores and ferritin stores and nothing's changing. Hey, maybe you have something internally that keeps getting rid of that iron. And you can do infusions and like that, but if you're not, your body gets nutrients from food in the best way. So um, yeah, my next questions would be, let me see those labs. Let me see what you're currently trying to do food structure wise. And then, okay, I have 4 iron saturation. Wow. Iron's at 9, Jesus. And 7.4 hemoglobin, and then got blood after it and it dropped. Yeah. Yeah, it would be, what are you doing with your foods? And that's 6.8, so got 1 until the blood transfusion. Yeah, I'll be looking into chlorophyll. Beans and greens. No, we need. That's why we're anemic. Um, it's going to be very hard. Have fibroid tumor as well, so you're probably deficient in some iodine. When people are very sorry, I know Mitchell. You asked a question in here too, so I will answer that. It's just she's responding greatly with a lot of details here. So when you're seeing a lot of fibroid development or fibrous tissues in breasts or endometriosis and things like that, Rohith, what is going on, man? Doing a little TikTok and YouTube duel live here. Sorry, guys, I know I'm getting distracted, but yeah, iodine, chlorophyll, and then I'll be doing some glandulars, endometriosis too. So yeah, we got to get women, please. Your each breast needs 6 micrograms of iodine per day. Each breast, and there's most people getting like 2 gram or micrograms of iodine per day. It's like what? Um, yeah, my periods are brutal. But yeah, I think um, there's probably something with the immune system going on here. Plus, we got the deficiency issues there as well. So, do we need to take some iodine drops? That's the easiest way to dose something like this. So, if you are a female and you're just trying to do, normal maintenance type things, at least be doing 12 drops a day. That would be my, or whatever equals out to 12 micrograms for both breasts there. Sorry for doing this, but I bled for 3 months straight. Holy crap! We need some progesterone. We need a lot of things to do there. The mannerisms. Yeah, with bleeding 3 months straight, we were deficient in things. No wonder we're anemic. You bled for 3 months. Um, I would like you to start getting stomach acid up so that you can get more iron and B vitamin absorption from your foods. If you are doing something like vegetarian stuff, just please be preparing your foods properly, soaking the nuts and seeds, fermenting things when you can, steaming, roasting things, um, be doing the iodine drops, be promoting stomach acid, trying to get protein up like crazy. You should be trying to aim for like 70 grams, 70% of your body weight in grams of protein per day. And that's just to maintain. Um, okay, I got to get back to the other person's question that I skipped over. Um, okay, losing lots of weight. Yeah, we probably have some malabsorption issue here with that gastroparesis issue. Um, What if I just had iodized table salt? That's refined salt though, so it's bleached and there's a lot of chemical additives with that too. That would not be my recommendation. My recommendation would be going for your seafood snacks, but I don't expect people to just eat seaweed chips or whatever every day because they taste horrible. Um, but you can if that's your thing, you know. I just hate hate doing that. You know, you fatty fish and stuff like that will have some small amounts in there, but it's just way easier to get droplets for it. Um, I did for 9 months. Holy crap! Had to have a hysterectomy. Sometimes we do need time and a place for surgeries. Yes. So should I get an endoscopy for making sure about the internal bleeding and things? I mean, you can if it's going to give you peace of mind. I'm never going to tell somebody not to do um, things like that. So the key, steps. Make that appointment if you'd like to. I would want to see some of your labs there, but I want you to lean into chlorophyll to help you with forming heme iron and forming that properly inside cells. I would want you doing the iodine there. I would want you starting to do some apple cider vinegar before you're eating, or something like betaine-HCl tablets, so that you can get more iron absorption and B vitamin absorption from the foods that you are eating, since you are doing more of a vegan or vegetarian type thing, because it's going to be very hard to get those stores back up. If you are willing, and I have patients that are like this, if you're willing to keep rocking with the dietary things that you're doing, I'll send you some info on best plant sources to get your proteins from that will have higher amounts of iron and things. But an organ meat capsule is your best way to go here. I'll be doing something like female glandular that has ovarian tissue in there, and um, the liver tissue in there as well, because you're going to very quickly handle this anemia scenario. Um, but yeah, I am scheduled for that, but I get dizzy and get near syncope and can't wait for my surgery. I started mimicking seizures. Wow, without getting blood soon. Ah, okay, wait. You know what type of anemia I should be asked to be tested for? I would get a full CBC with differential, and I will be getting ferritin looked at as well, along with iron saturation, iron itself, at least those. And then from the endoscopy, they can probably work you up nicely and see if there's any ulceration taking place, which can be very common. I think it is heavily connected to as well, though, the 3 months of bleeding that we had, and then things that we're doing dietarily that are going to, kind of be a risk factor for things like this. So, yeah. Where did I leave off? I've been kind of mixed up here. So we did the 9 months one. Sorry, I'm reading the chats. Okay, wait, Rohith, how's the work going, man? Pretty good. And when's the next sleep challenge? The sleep challenge is all throughout October. So it is not over. It is all throughout the month here. So we're still going. But I still got to post all the other sleep challenge videos for you guys. Still working through that stuff. Takes some more editing and things. But yeah, if you guys are trying to do the sleep challenge, go to thewellnessway.com, type in sleep, and join the community there. Also on the Wellness Way Challenge group on Facebook, a bunch of us are in there as well. Whether you're patients or non-patients, or just want to ask questions to all the other Wellness Way doctors in there as well. But yeah, all throughout the month of October, and just pointing people on best guides, like actual, you know, workshop, like little fillable forms for morning routines, nighttime routines, check boxes, seeing what you make progress on, so that it's kind of like that reminder of, okay, I was doing really good this week. I slipped a little bit. And our Saturday morning shows on the Different Perspective show that we do every weekend, that is about an hour long. 9 a.m. Eastern Time every Saturday morning. So those are all recorded and put up on the Wellness Way website as well under the shows. And there's probably 2 to 3 thousand hours of material to go through on there. So um, have fun, have a blast. There's you search any topic, you'll find 10 hours on that topic. So psych meds are dangerous from Noth Tripsa. To treat pernicious anemia, it's more so finding out why somebody's anemic in the first place. I have celiac. Oh, that is the worst. Have you done any stool testing or food allergy testing? That would be my next question. Bum, bum, bum. Mine was pre-C. Help you get everything you need. I almost passed out. Okay, there we go. At the pre-op, I caught back up here. So, okay, I gotta go. Gotta study. Oh, look at this guy studying on Saturdays. Nice. Happy Diwali. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but happy Diwali. My YouTube friends over here. But okay, didn't take me seriously, and a code for me was called. I can do sleep challenge. Okay, wait, what the heck is happening here? I get sleepy and nap a lot. Oh, you're like really good at the sleep challenge. I hope you get well too. Thanks so much. Do you know when I should have my level checked? I just got blood 4 days ago. I mean, in your position, you can wait a little bit. I don't think you need it once a week. Um, if you're really curious, doing things monthly of just a very small panel right now could definitely be beneficial. Didn't answer my question. I don't know what it was. Down below. Oh, I have pernicious anemia. Well, yeah, it's figuring out why we're anemic. Are we having an absorption issue? Is there some type of ulceration somewhere that is leading to that iron coming out of the system? Um, so it's deficient, or are we getting rid of it? And yeah, I mean, I would wonder food practices there too, but it's pretty simple. Figure these things out. It actually wasn't as bad. Okay, wait, they're talking to each other. I'm not going to read their conversations. Okay, intrinsic factor antibodies. Yeah, so why are these antibodies coming about? Because that's something to do with immune responses, and if we can look at the the issues with the immune system now preventing this so that you can form and store iron properly, usually that's going to be related around food allergies. That's going to be related around a lot of things with the GI. And you'll be told, nope, this is genetic. You have to take this the rest of your life. That's like, okay, that's one form of care. But if you get the right labs done to look at what are the mechanisms driving some of the other things in here too, then it's like, okay. Okay, wait, where was Johnny's question? These are two different people. Johnny, I might have missed your question. Did it get filtered? Where the heck? Johnny, I don't know where your first post was, bud. Doctor said surgery is the only option. Where did that even. Johnny, I'm not seeing the first post here. I don't know if it's. I looked for something that was filtered. There was nothing getting filtered out here. Um, but hopefully he posts more down below. Pernicious anemia is macrocytic from B12. That's why I mentioned the GI, because if you're having a problem with B12 and creating enough and absorbing enough, then it's like, okay, we need to get the GI up to speed. Stomach acid needs to be high enough. The small intestine needs to do its job so that we can get all these cofactors into our blood from the GI system. And take our nutrients in so that we can create these things. But yeah, there's something going wrong with this GI, and it's definitely food related and definitely related to the environment. And I think doing something like Genova testing is huge. Okay, why am I getting all mixed up here? It's because I have intrinsic factor antibodies. Yeah, you have antibodies. Stop right there. There's an immune system problem. We need to figure out what's wrong with the immune system. I'm not dead serious. Dead serious, my friend. Hello, doctor. Hello. I have a large bone spur on my spine. Ooh, that is not fun. I'll be leaning to a lot of K2 rich foods so that you can help some of that calcium start to mobilize around, but this is probably going to be surgical. Probably going to be surgical. Did I read this one already? It's because I have intrinsic factor antibodies. And yeah, that's why I mentioned, you're telling me I don't know enough about anemia. You know where intrinsic factor is made? In the stomach. So back to my initial thing. We got to look at the immune response. We got to look at the GI. All right, we already got Doc Pilot, Cairo Bro, who seems to know it all. Lol, oh my god, only in America. It's only in America that we have the worst health outcomes ever in history with the most advanced medical technology and therapies that there's ever been, right? Pretty interesting. My former care comes from reducing stressors, promoting normal responses in the body, and getting physiology to normalize. So I see on here, you got no damn clue what you're talking about.
Are you delusional?
So that's fine.
Do you suffer from a mental illness?
It's not the first time. This is all I do on here. Half the time is just telling retards what's up. Um, what type of doctor are you? I'm a chiropractor. And then surgery is the only option. I think he's right. If you have a bone spur like that, and the surgeon is saying this is surgical, we're probably gonna need some surgery there. There's nothing wrong with doing meds and surgery when they're needed. That's what they're there for. Okay. Just want to thank you for the live and info today. Gonna get off and make some dinner. Good stuff. Bum, bum, bum. Advice for self-criticism. I think that's. I thought you already asked that question. I'm pretty sure you already asked that one. I have low IgM, IgA, and one subclass of IgG. What would you suggest? I like doing something like colostrum. Equip Foods has their core colostrum. Fantastic. Um, and cool because you can order that stuff when you're not in the US. But I know that people are all over the world here. But there you go. Put that code in and you'll get 15% off, baby. But yeah, that's going to give you the building blocks for IgM, IgA, and IgG, along with phagocytic activity, along with natural killer cell activity there, and a great source that you can get that from. Also, one of the strongest ones. Happy Diwali for the TikTok fam. Doc Pilot. I'm not selling anything, man. I'm just giving people the best sources and places they can get discounted on it from. Thank you for answering my question about gastroparesis, seizures, migraines. I am miserable. The one thing I don't understand is DCs always shit on physicians for being bad. Why not just become an MD and do it yourself? I am not that person at all. I actually think that there's the best form of where healthcare can be is having natural and medical at their strongest, because to keep people alive, you need medications, you need surgery. Is that where somebody should stop, though? Is my question getting filtered? It probably is, because I did not see your question, Miss Sean girl. But yeah, I have nothing against MDs. I don't know where you got that from. I mean, other people on TikTok will certainly be like that. Um, but there's a time and a place. It's the fireman carpenter scenario. If the house is on fire, call 911, please. You need an axe, you need a hose, you need to spray that house down because the house is on fire. But once the fire's out, what are you doing? Are you just going to continue spraying water? Is the patient doing anything on their end to get things back? People from your company do it all the time. Again, not you. I actually like your advice. I mean, yeah, there's things get very emotional. So I would say, sorry, I know I'm skipping a couple of questions, but I'm trying to find the common ground here, show everybody that it doesn't have to be this way. It's like politics though, It gets very emotional very quick, and um people sometimes can't handle the heat. People sometimes are just getting frustrated with what's being thrown at them, and there are a lot of bots on these accounts and things that are just flooding people constantly. So I think it's more of a emotional centered thing rather than, I think the biggest fight is upon how patients don't really follow recommendations. And that just frustrates practitioners because they're like, I do better than you. No, I do better than you. And it's like, well, if patients just listened to what people told them what to do, then we probably wouldn't have these issues. But that's human nature. So yeah, human nature is to kind of find the easiest, quickest way out of something and blame other people and do that type of thing. But I do appreciate you for saying that, and I think at least on this account, I am always trying to find that common ground. I think there is not a healthcare provider out there. I hope not, at least. But I, in my heart, don't believe that there's a provider out there that is maliciously trying to harm people. I don't think that's possible. We take an oath. We're here to help other people. That's literally what we do for a living, um, natural or medical. So I think that's the framework everybody should start thinking from, and just know that there's different tools to get different jobs done. Um, what drives me crazy is when it's like you're giving medical advice. It's like, I didn't tell you what to do with the med. I didn't tell you what to do with your surgery. That's not my position. So thoughts on L-glutamine and what does it exactly do? I know it's good for the gut. Sorry, I missed it. L-glutamine I don't really use until way later on because it can convert into glutamate. So we have to make sure that all of the immune responses and triggers and everything coming in from food and going on and in your body is like tight niched, down pat. We've done a detox, we've done the GI repair, then you start using that. But it's really to help with just the barriers within the GI, similar to something like colostrum. That's very, very similar to. Um, have you heard of? Oh, whoa! Sorry, I'm getting a phone call, so I'll probably have to end the live in a minute here, but I'll rapid fire through some of these. Okay, we had an unstable connection there for a second. Have you heard of Nick 18 lol patches for LC? What does LC mean? Um, I do think that there are some benefits there, but there are some risks there because of the vasoconstriction. So it's kind of tough. It puts me in a corner. I'm not sure. I don't know enough yet. I don't like the vasoconstriction that comes from it. If you are in a surgery room, are you allowed to pass gas? I don't know. I've never performed surgery. When you're on an anxiety medication, is it long term? I do not give medications. It's just not part of my degree here. I do all natural health things. So, you know, it's like, okay, can we get stress off by doing something like California poppy, something like kava, even certain things like St. John's? Yep. Um, I think a lot of that comes from the GI, though. That's where we make a lot of our neurotransmitters. So it's like, okay, Reb's dad, so proud of you. I'm not sure who you are. Da, da, da. Ooh, got some people talking back and forth. Love it. What do you think? This is a great question. What do you think about bee venom therapy for Lyme and co-infections? There is something to it. There is certainly something to it because there are certain constituents within, and this is why bees are so cool. There are certain constituents within that bee venom that can help with Lyme and those co-infections. So um, I think that's the coolest thing out ever. That's kind of crazy that that venom can be used for that, but it's also a matter of building up normal immune responses there too. Oh, Sean girl. Okay, your comment did get filtered. I just saw it here. Um, I just let them all in. So yeah, there's definitely connections there, and it can do some pretty amazing things. But that's what I was saying. The medicinal mushrooms, holy crap, and things like cat's claw and Japanese knotweed, dominant herbs for those things. I have long COVID. It got filtered. It did when I told you on your other live. So now I see your question. Yeah, there are some connections there. There are some connections there, but again, the medicinal mushrooms, guys, the vitamin D levels, the sugars coming in the system. That's like that's where most immune deficiencies have solutions for. So, all right, a couple more questions, and then I gotta wrap it up. I got phone calls coming in like crazy. I do too. Tested positive for Lyme a few weeks ago. Okay, it's happening toward the end of the summer here. I'm seeing a bunch of people. I actually saw somebody with seizures and everything happening from that recently. But yeah, get your cat's claw going. Get your Japanese knotweed, which this is a good link you can find them at. And then I'm going to piece out of here. So make sure you save this link. I'll post it again, but for the people that want more written up guidance and things, I'm giving away free stuff like crazy um, in terms of services, appointments, and all those things. Completely free for right now until we get the office open and live and I have my EHR and payment processors all rolling. I'm not charging for those things right now. So if you send me a message on here, I will give you my email and we could exchange phone numbers too if you're more of a verbal person. But we could talk about what you're dealing through, what your labs are, if you have any, where to go in terms of food structuring, lifestyle means, supplementation, where to get those things from, and have all good healing come on back, get you guys back to normal. So I love it. But so for Amir, ooh, mm, probably not Amir. That's a really tough one. You can do some things for the blood vessels and things, something like Neo 40 to help with blood vessel dilation and repair and things, leaning toward a lot of citrus. Even the peels of citrus have good constituents in there. Obviously, your collagen and different forms there. But all right, good stuff, people. Like I said, send me messages. I'll give you guys my emails. I'll have all your stuff written out hopefully tonight. If not, you'll be getting a big old email tomorrow morning with a bunch of attachment files and a whole lot of details on what you can do. So snag it while it's free. We did almost 2 hours straight on here, so I love it. Thank you guys for hanging out. That was pretty fun. We had some ups, we had some downs. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. And as always, stay healthy, stay free, and I might be back here tonight, but if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow.